so they rushed to Friday the 13th to theaters this very next year, as we know. It's going to be our in-depth breakdown of the deaths and
a part 2
our
Friday
thoughts.
13th in-depth horror discussion review, breakdown scene by scene. JBM 2005 description.
We go through our overall thoughts throughout the review.
Yeah, this movie's pretty much filler. That's what I gotta say.
Alright, this franchise, I would have preferred it if they would have done it as like a curse day of like jinxes and like damned curses. But they went the slasher franchise route, and you can't complain because we got Jason Voorhees.
Yeah, you can't complain because you got a good killer out of it. You know, good franchise, it's tight. But anyways, part 2.
We're gonna jump into this.
Scene 1.
Mr. Creepshow.
Starts at the old school Paramount fade to blue, and you're like, oh, it's pretty tight.
And then it's the nightmare flashback, as we know.
Oh yeah, just
with
no,
Adrian
it's like,
King.
It's like stock
It does
footage.
like the origin.
No,
actually, I like it.
They take the stock footage from from part 1 of freaking the mom at the end talking to the main chick before she kills her, like with this right here with the audio playing.
But they do a lot of it to fill out the movie.
They're like, yeah, we can just play the first like stuff that we recorded from part 1 for the first part of the movie for the first 10 minutes. It would save that much time. Freaking.
But I like it because it's an awesome, dope opening, underrated opening horror scene.
Yeah, if you like seeing 10 minutes of shit you already seen before, it's pretty tight.
And then it's like Jason in the water, and he wakes up from the nightmare.
Yeah, they show like the whole recap of her, like, you know, getting
so
chased by her mom.
Traumatized, Laurie Strode
traumatized,
style,
the
as
cops
we
show
know.
up. Jason comes out of the water. She comes, and then it's the hospital.
Supposedly, it's only 2 months after.
She's like, then Jason's still there. Their little boy's still in the water.
Yeah, they show everything, don't they?
Exactly. It's boring.
No, then it's filler of her taking a shower, like no edit.
No, it's
like
filler of her forever.
the cameraman
like,
stands in the
like,
hallway while she goes from room
she's back
to
at her
room.
house. She's walking around. She's doing laundry.
Like she's trying to get it adjusted.
It's boring.
It's hard out there for a scream queen getting adjusted.
It's pretty boring. Alright, going. So
No, then she gets a call from no one.
Phone
No
calls,
one.
yeah.
Ghostface style.
Yeah, and
you can
think,
clearly tell
you
it's
think,
inspired by When a Stranger
and you're
Calls,
like,
the
what-
opening
and you're
scene,
like, what, is
1979.
what, is Jason Voorhees doing phone calls now?
Ghostface style.
Alright.
And she walks around scared filler. And
then
that's
the
when she
freaking-
finds
and then it's
Mrs.
the jump scare of the cat through the window.
Of course, they probably
That's
do
what
it.
it is.
Amityville
It's so-
horror style.
And you're like, all the lead up, all this boring lead up just to the cat jumping through the window, and you're like, oh, how boring.
No, then she finds Mrs. Voorhees' head in the fridge, one of the most underrated horror villains.
Oh, and then it pops, and then does the logo, Friday the
Pam
13th,
Voorhees.
Part 2.
No, and Jason stabs her with the ice pick. This is another one of our beefs with the movie. The deaths are kind of suck. Well,
Oh yeah, dude.
compared to the first
Compared to
one.
the first one, they're not as elaborate, and they cut away from
Dude,
some of them.
I'm not sure. I don't even think Tom Savini works
We'll get
on
into
this
that.
one.
I don't know if he did either. Somebody leave us a comment.
Because they cut it like real quick and stuff, and there's not that much gore and blood as the first one.
Yeah.
So he stabs her with the ice pick.
She's dead, and then there's the Friday the 13th
And,
logo.
and
Let's go.
the Myers fan 25 would be like, and she has the wherewithal, and Jason has the wherewithal to take the tea off the stove because it was boiling.
Oh yeah, and then they show like Jason taking
With his glasses on.
taking like his butt hands all over the stove, taking the tea
And
off.
that's when they roll the credits and like the logo blows up like an Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie or something.
Friday the 13th, exactly, like some dynamite. Anyway, so then they cuts immediately to the couple. We meet the like a boyfriend and girlfriend like stopping at the town, and we see Ralph, the town drunk from the first.
This is
from
one
part
of the
one.
few clever dialogue scenes. The dialogue, I gotta say this up front, is just terrible throughout. There's a few decent scenes, but a
Yeah.
lot of it's just boring. And we meet Ralph at the phone booth.
And Ralph's all wasted as usual. Or he's just getting
He's
wasted
like,
at high
boomed,
noon.
of course.
Yeah,
Can't blood.
they're on the phone and he comes up to the kids and he's like, I told them not to go. Now don't
Apparently,
get
the tie-in origin story of Jason coming back alive is he was never dead, and Pam Voorhees went crazy, and she thought he was dead, even though they've been living in Camp Crystal Lake Woods since 1958, driving
Yeah.
people, everyone that tries to resurrect the camp and bring it
So
back.
then Ralph.
But apparently, they tell the story. This is when the redhead pulls that prank on him, comic relief, whatever, and he tells him and he's like. And they run into the log that Jason dragged, and he tells them about how they're working at a camp. They're not working at Camp Crystal Lake. They're like, that's Camp Blood. We're working at one on the other side of Crystal Lake.
His car gets towed right after the phone call.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They did the prank with the redhead.
It's filler.
It's like the redhead from like Clarissa Explains It All.
It's filler because the couple are like, hey, it's my car, and they like chase her down the block for like 5 blocks. It's forever. It's retarded. And then yeah, it's just one of their friends who towed the car, some skinny white kid. They don't even show him getting killed throughout in the movie.
So then Jason dragged the log to like look at the kids or
so
whatnot.
They're driving to go to like hang out or to go to the Camp Crystal Lake. And then freaking up, there's a log in the road.
They find the Camp Crystal Lake Camp
and you're
Blood
like, what?
sign.
Jason put the log in the road? Like, okay. And then it's like POV of him walking in the woods, like seeing him move the log.
They make him like the BTK killer. They're like, all right, we gotta make Jason the victim. In the first one, they're like, we gotta make him the villain. They had no good, bright ideas on set, so they just went with like. They were inspired by like the San Francisco serial killer BTK, the Zodiac killer.
Also, while they're freaking moving the log out of the road, the girl that gets out with the short shorts, she finds the Camp Crystal Lake sign right there in the grass.
Yeah, I've been talking about that the whole time,
like,
you idiot. And they said Camp Blood, and the redhead tells them that's the camp that's on the other side of the lake, and they're working at a different
I'm
one.
the first asshole.
You're the first douchebag that wasn't paying attention.
Alright, so she finds the camp sign, and then they get back in the car.
It's the meeting with the group of counselors. We see them all, and you're like, hell yeah, this is gonna be carnage candy, like Jason killing everyone. But then no, they're like all extras. And then the main
and
blunt.
Then one of the chick walks out. Now this is also the kid.
And Paul's
shoots the
telling.
chick in the butt.
Yeah, what the hell?
There's like the boy, and you think
no, that was a nice 80s ass.
They're showing POV, and you think it's freaking Jason. No, when they're leading up to it, you think it's Jason Voorhees, and they freaking shoots the slingshot, and it hits the chick in the buttocks, and she turns around, and you think it's Jason like shooting the slingshot, and you're like, what the hell? And then, but no, it's just one of the kids there.
You would think it was Jason.
Everybody did. You did too. You were like, what the hell?
No, because they showed a buttload of counselors up the ass. Like around the house.
Yeah, there's a buttload. Anyway, so the meeting's going on. They're like, yep, so we're going to clean this camp up.
And then the main bitch, Amy Steele, shows up.
The main chick, the main
Of course, there's another complicated love relationship between her and the boss.
Who's the boss?
And you're like, just like the first one, wow.
She shows up and the boss is like, oh, why are you so late? He's like, come on, you gotta show a good example. And you're like, oh, great. And now it's like the same one from the first one. Complicated relationship, exactly.
And then it already cuts to nighttime that night. And we're going to go to the infamous scene.
So it goes to the campfire.
The campfire setting.
It goes to the campfire.
The original concept of freaking Friday the 13th is classic. The campfire setting out in the middle of nowhere on the lake.
Pretty tight feel.
Urban legend of a serial killer.
Some folks claim they've even seen him right in this area. The girl who survived that night at Camp Blood, Friday the 13th, she disappeared 2 months later.
Oh.
Blood was everywhere.
She disappeared.
No one knows what happened to her. Legend has it that Jason saw his mother beheaded that night. Then he took his revenge. A revenge that he'll continue to seek if anyone ever enters his wilderness again.
It's a tight story that they
By now, I
interweaved
guess
into
you'll
this.
know. We're the first to return here. 5 years. 5 long years he's been dormant.
So it's set in 1984.
Jason's out there.
And Jason's supposed to be all grown up and not the little boy anymore.
Always on the prowl for intruders. Ready to kill. Ready to devour. Thirsty for young blood.
The body count continues.
Oh, the
All
urban
right.
legend of a serial
So
killer.
we just play the campfire scene. That's the dialogue that happens right there, and he tells the story of Jason Voorhees and how, you know, people. They said people around this area have seen him. He's grown up now. He's living off the area. You know, freaking. He's using
He's a
bone
hunter and
arrows.
gatherer.
He's a hunter gatherer. Yeah, like an Indian or something. He's Jason Voorhees, the little boy that's grown up. Freaking so freaking annoying. No, but it's tight. It's tight how they interweaved him. You know, being the killer now and stuff. You know.
Continue on with the main track.
Alright.
Friday the 13th.
Alright. Cue the music, guys.
So they're chilling out in the house, and that's when it's Amy Steele's bra scene.
Oh yeah, so it's the bra scene. So 80s and so...
No, compared to Adriana King in the first one, Amy Steele is like a
Boring.
dime compared to Adriana King.
I thought it was pretty boring either way.
Because Adriana King just looks like a dyke.
Either way, both got AIDS. Alright, so go.
She makes out with what's his name?
Oh yeah, so
Paul
they
the
wanna,
boss.
So they want to make out, so they start making out.
No, and that's when Ralph is like peeping in on them, making out.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Jason's, for some reason, just because it's a freaking movie.
It's POV of seeing Ralph, the drunk guy, looking at them
Even
making
though
out.
Ralph has a
And then
connection with Jason and
Yeah,
the
because
Voorhees.
they're both outsiders, you know, both drunk.
Ralph is probably Jason's dad. Did anyone ever think of that?
It's probably in the script, but they wrote it out. Anyways, so then Ralph gets killed by Jason.
Why kill Ralph? He was a badass.
He was a town drunk. He didn't hurt nobody.
Because he was a
didn't hurt nobody.
belligerent, like, and he was gonna get like more attention on the area.
Yeah, it was too high. Yeah, Jason was like, yeah, this guy's caught. He's
He didn't
bringing the
like him
cops.
peeping in
He
on
didn't
his
like him bringing
future
the
prey.
cops. Yeah, he didn't like bringing the cops around here. He's drunk ass. He's like, it's
Oh yeah,
Ralph's
every
drunk
time he
ass.
got wasted,
Jason was like, I gotta
cops had
kill
to
him.
round him up.
Jason's like, I just gotta kill him. Alright, anyway.
So then it cuts to the next day. The group's walking in the trails. Some nice scenery.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
Gotta love the American
Camp Crystal
woods.
Lake feel. Yeah, I love any feel of any campground, you know, of just being out there in the, you know, just the wilderness and the
The
freaking...
thousands of lakes across
and the
America.
shitty ass toilet system that they always got at the campgrounds. Yeah, I love that feel.
This is when the dog, it's like a Shih Tzu. He like goes up to Jason.
Like, fucking porta potties every 5 feet. You gotta love that smell.
No, you don't gotta love that smell.
Alright, so, going. So, yeah, so they're making out.
No,
Ralph
they're
gets
definitely
killed.
not making
so
it.
then after that, it goes to freaking the killer's POV.
They make you think the dog dies by Jason,
Exactly. They're getting out. Freaking...
but they don't show shit. They treat it like a. They show Jason's POV. They don't show him the whole movie. They just show him as a stuntman, like his hands
show
and shit
him, like,
again.
You know, like, hey, he's creeping
Which
through
is
the-
like whack
they
because
show,
we
like,
know
hey,
it's
he's looking
Jason.
through the woods.
They should have just made him more villainous, or
They
whatever.
show him, like, hey, he's peeping Tom.
And then it's the group swimming,
Oh, yeah, it shows the kids swimming like it's part 1, like filler.
and the couple go off.
Another couple walks off.
secondary
so they
couple.
can get killed.
You think they're gonna get killed because no one's been killed except for Ralph and
And
Adriana
then
King.
this is a real
no
retarded
reason.
part that they wrote in here. It goes to the cop. That's the town sheriff, and he's just driving along. And freaking, you see Jason,
The
like, run.
kids, no. The kids see an animal. They see a deer that like Jason raped, and the cops bring them in, which is just stupid. It's just like,
Fill it up the butt.
hey, what are you kids doing? Why do you even bring them in? Wow, they went off trail. They were walking around and ran into a deer.
And there wasn't even funny like hash references in this one, like in part 1.
Yeah, 13th Wolfman needs to confirm or deny if there was hash back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Which I believe there was.
Oh, there was.
Anyways. It was just rare.
The guy in like the boss Paul picks him up and he's wearing a Yankees hat, even though they lost in the 2011 playoffs to the Detroit Tigers.
He got traded to the Yankees. So then freaking he's wearing the Yankees hat and freaking he picks up a freaking
The cops chase the Michael Myers speed walker.
Yeah, so I see some guy jaywalking and it's Jason going through the woods and the cop just stops, pulls over like, hey, and he chases after Jason. And it's
they filmed it like a freaking YouTube horror movie. You know those kids who like send you their videos like watch my horror YouTube
my
movie.
Short film.
And it's like a freaking stuntman walking in the woods.
And it's one of those cameras with no feeling. But no, this actually had feeling. But anyways, no. So it's the forever footage of the cop like showing his feet running, like, showing
70s
Jason
crime
running,
drama,
like kind of like his feet.
It didn't have that hardcore horror Hitchcock
so
feel
forever,
of the original.
And it's 5 minutes go by running in the woods. I like fell asleep because it's like 10 minutes. I fell asleep when we were watching it because just when I first I was like, alright, nothing's going on.
It's like Michael Myers' speed walk.
So anyway, then the cop gets killed by Jason. He like turns around, he stabs him.
I think it's a small hatchet or a hammer.
Oh no, it's a hammer. He nails him with the hammer in the head.
No, he finds Jason's shitter.
Oh yeah, freaking
Eric Vierthal,
and the cop finds like
the
cop finds like a barn that basically it's Jason like where he's living. You can basically see that's how they're trying to depict it as. And freaking he opens up the door inside the barn there, and it's like a freaking shitty toilet. Like it's a toilet Jason's been pooping out for the past like.
No, actually, this is one of those deaths that you could.
It's a toilet that he's grown up with his whole life.
No, it's total Leatherface original style, jacked from.
It's a toilet that he's used his whole life that he hasn't wiped his ass at all with.
Alright, we're gonna go to part 2.
If he has wiped his ass, it's with leaves.
That's what I was thinking earlier, but I didn't say.
Exactly. Alright, we're gonna go to part 2.
This is Mr. Creepshow,
the in-depth horror discussion review
Friday the 13th, part 2, 1980.